Hello and welcome to Physical Therapy, a movie podcast inspired by the world of physical media and beyond. My name is Kurt.
My name is Sam.
Sam, my God, we are honored. We are not worthy. On today's episode, right now, we are joined by Dr. Vanessa Swenton, the Lead Field Geologist at the Oregon Department of Geology and Mineral Industries. Welcome to the show, Dr. Swenton.
I'm so excited to be here.
Vanessa, believe it or not, you're not the first doctor to be on this show. I'm just kidding. You are very much the first doctor to be on this show.
Let me ask you this, Vanessa. Are you technically a volcanologist?
Yes, I technically am. Yeah, I got my PhD in volcanology.
Hell yeah.
And Sam, why would it be that we are joined today by a real-life volcanologist?
It can only mean it's finally time for 1997's Dante's Peak.
Dante's Peak recently released on 4K UHD, finally, after a rights issue from Kino Lorber, the good folks at Kino Lorber. This is a Roger Donaldson film, director of No Way Out,
Species,
and something else really big, right? Cocktail, starring Tom Cruise.
Oh, shit. Dude, is Cocktail tight?
I think it's one of the 3 Tom Cruise movies I've never seen. Okay, Vanessa, before we get into the movie, as a lead field geologist in Oregon, what just, top level, what does that mean? What do you do for a living as a volcanologist?
So my specialty actually is the volcanology of Eastern Oregon. So everything that's related to the old volcanism that's out there. And I do a lot of mapping. So I do a lot of geologic mapping. If you've ever seen a geologic map, it's basically just what rocks are beneath our feet. And I work for the state, and we basically pick different chunks of the state to map. That's what and my specialty is volcanology, which is a great specialty to have when you're studying Eastern Oregon.
Hell yeah. Dante's Peak. Let's start here. Vanessa, had you seen this movie before?
Yes.
Is this the movie that made a young Vanessa go, that's my life, that's my chosen path?
No, I didn't watch it when I was little, to be honest. But I actually had, I got my PhD with someone, Emily Cahoon, who was obsessed with the movie. And she was just really excited about it. So I was like, all right, I'll watch it. And I'm glad I did.
When did you see it for the first time?
For the first time, only 3 years ago.
Wow.
Hell
okay,
yeah.
Cool. What about Volcano? Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen that one still.
Okay.
Oh, man.
I think it's probably better to have you on for Dante's Peak, because I feel like Dante's Peak, well, we'll get to it, but I feel like based on what I have learned from this incredible 4K disc and its special features, is that Dante's Peak is relatively factual.
Yeah, I have some questions.
I'm afraid The Volcano, the movie about a volcano that erupts underneath the La Brea tar pits in Los Angeles, starring Tommy Lee Jones and Anne Heche, is perhaps not as factual.
Remember when that guy jumps off the subway in Volcano and his legs melt off, but he throws that other guy out of the lava?
Isn't the guy who melts the guy from Zodiac that goes, I'm not Zodiac, but
Yeah.
if I was, I wouldn't tell you.
It definitely is. Anywho, Vanessa and I are good friends, and she's been begging us to do Dante's Peak. And in the middle of last year, we kind of had it dated. We were going to do it, and then this disc disappeared. So I'm super happy to finally have the chance to sit down and discuss it with you, because I know you have thoughts.
I do have thoughts. My first thought is good friends. It's kind of a strong word.
Wow.
I was shocked when I heard Sam had a doctor friend, to be honest. So I never believed it to start with.
My God, that's just shouts to all my other friends.
No, I'm excited. I've definitely been interested in talking about this, especially about in the context of a movie. Watching Dante's Peak, I was really surprised at how accurate a lot of it was. Actually, I took notes on what was realistic and what I was okay, that's a little zesty.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely play a little true and false as we go through the plot of Dante's Peak, because I have some questions.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned, Sam, this was supposed to come out on 4K from Kino last year at the exact same time as Daylight, or maybe just after Daylight.
Mm-hmm.
Daylight ended up like accidentally coming out.
Yeah.
There was rights issues with both the movies. And I don't know if they share a common thread beyond this, but they are written both by a guy named Leslie Boehm.
No way.
He wrote both movies. And I'm not sure that the rights issue was with Leslie Boehm, but they do have that in common. But then they both, Daylight and Dante's Peak, 6 months later-ish, are now officially out. And boy, oh boy, spoiler alert, I'm pretty happy about it.
Did you grow up watching this movie?
I definitely saw it in the theater.
I think I did too.
I was going to ask, this movie came out on February 7th, 1997.
2 days after my birthday.
Which is what, 29 years ago? Is that true? Holy shit. But yes, it's right after your birthday. And I was wondering if you saw this for your birthday. Because if I were you, I would have.
I don't think so. Maybe I'll have to take that up with my mother, because that is a huge oversight on her part.
I saw it in the theater. I remember being a bigger fan of Volcano. And I don't know that I had seen this movie since.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
You want to know what the thing I remember most about this movie when I was a kid is? Towards the end, Pierce Brosnan breaks his arm and you see his like bone sticking out of his shirt and skin. And that is the only thing I could remember about this movie.
It's very graphic.
Extremely graphic.
I remembered two things about this movie. The second one I will reveal when we get there, but I did remember the opening, which takes place somewhere in South America, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And it is like the early 90s, a few years before the main events of the film will take place. And it's a small sort of town, village at the base of a volcano that is mid-eruption. There is like mud rain coming down. Is there a technical term for like the kind of lava rock fall that's happening?
Yeah, I actually, when that opening scene is happening, right in the beginning, when it's like these fireballs that are sort of coming at the camera,
yeah,
that is accurate. That would be like you were right at the base of the volcano, like you were in the blast zone. So that those are considered, they call them bombs. That's the technical term, is like volcanic bombs. And so you can get like spindle bombs and cauliflower bombs and like all these different things, but it's that like hot rock. So it looks like a solid coming at you, but it's glowing. Obviously in real life, like no one would survive that, because it's all you saw. It was surrounded by like hot ash and gas and stuff like that. It would be like 800 degrees Celsius. So I think it can get up to like 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit. You'd be like cooked.
You're talking the rocks or the environment? Like
the gas and all of that stuff, that like it would just be this cloud of a mix of ash and gas and those hot rocks and all the debris that was like flying at the camera.
Yeah.
And then that rain that was coming down too, that muddy rain, that would happen if the environment was like really rainy. It's like sometimes if there's like a big explosion and all the ash like induces rain, you can get that. That's real.
Dang, dude.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. And we see Pierce Brosnan driving a pickup truck as fast as he can through like a panicking evacuation, basically.
Yeah.
But he's going the other way. And he runs inside of a small little house where there is a computer set up with geological readings, and his partner, I'm not sure if it's his girlfriend or his wife, but she is working with him, obviously also a volcanologist, and she is like fascinated by the numbers that are coming through. She's insistent that they have to stay, and he's like, we got to get the fuck out of here as fast as possible.
We got to get gone, lady.
They get into the pickup truck and they're trying to evacuate the town amidst the chaos of all these people and this mud rain and these bombs, as Vanessa says.
It's literally like sheets of mud are hitting this car. You can't see anything out of it. Mm-hmm. And he's like, it's kind of hard to see. Pierce, come on, dog. You can't see anything.
The director, Roger Donaldson, on the commentary talks about how it was difficult to film this opening scene because all the extras would like sneak away and hide because it was so miserable. They had to like keep pulling people back into the mud rain. They're driving away and Pierce Brosnan's partner is hit and killed through the roof of the car with a small little lava bomb. It like goes through her head.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. I remembered seeing that when I was 9 years old or whatever. And that's how this movie starts.
Intense.
We think that's a cauliflower bomb or just a normal one?
That's a good question. I think when they're still like hot and kind of in action, like they're falling, I think you just call them bombs. But the way that they solidify, like when they cool and solidify, that's when the texture is basically what would make you decide, is it a cauliflower bomb or a spindle bomb? Like,
got it.
yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Wait, what's a spindle bomb?
It basically is like this big, hot, like gooey solid. Mid-air is sort of spinning. And so it almost in mid-air creates this, it has this effect where it almost ends up looking like a football. Like it looks like the lava itself turns into like a football before it lands. Yeah, that could be something like if in midair it hardened enough, but was still hot enough to land on a car, could certainly go through the roof of a car.
Dang.
Yeah. It's not going to be happy facts at the beginning.
I can't believe we have a doctor on our show. This is so silly. We jump through time.
Yeah, 4 years.
4 years later, Pierce Brosnan is
doing really bad push-ups.
really bad. Dude, he's doing like 1,000 push-ups in that take.
Those are barely push-ups, dude. He's not even going all the way down. His arms are not right. How many push-ups do you think you could do right now?
Like 3. He gets a phone call while he's doing his 1,000 push-ups. And the phone call leads him to, is it in Portland? Where is he?
He goes to Vancouver first, Vancouver, Washington.
One of my favorite parts was when he walks into the Cascade Volcano Observatory and he's like, he says to that guy, so tell me about the Cascades. Like, and then he just gets handed like one seismograph from one volcano. That would be like you walking up to someone and saying, tell me about the NBA, and then telling you about the score from one game. Mm-hmm. The Cascades is a huge, like it's so many volcanoes that if you were worried about one, you wouldn't ask about you wouldn't say like, update me on the Cascades.
On the Cascades, yeah.
You know, you'd say like, tell me about this specific volcano. I thought that was funny.
And so he's been brought in because there is like abnormal, potentially alarming seismic readings coming from Dante's Peak, right?
Yeah. And he's their best guy, and he's got to go check it out. Or is he checking out the mayor, Kurt?
The mayor of this small town of Dante's Peak, which we learn has recently been voted the second most appealing town in America.
They choose their words carefully because it isn't really like the second best place to live. It's like the second most appealing town or prettiest town or something like that. It's very strange.
And they're like second to somewhere in Montana, like fuck Montana. There's like a weird little throwaway line that like they're not in first place.
They go, yeah, some piece of crap town in Montana. Wow.
Respect to Montana. So he shows up and the mayor of this small town, Dante's Peak, is a woman named Rachel Wando. Mayor Rachel Wando, played by who?
Linda Hamilton.
Terminator and Terminator 2 herself, Linda Hamilton. She has 2 children. Their names are Graham and Lauren. They're probably like, I'm so bad at this. What are they, 12 and 8?
Yeah, I'd say Graham is 11 and 8.
Her husband has like split the picture. He's no longer around. His mother, though, her name is Ruth, and she's basically like a hermit who lives in a cabin on a lake up the mountain towards Dante's Peak, the soon-to-be volcano.
Do they ever name this volcano in the movie? Because Dante's Peak is the town, but I don't think they do they?
I don't know. I guess I'm calling it Dante's Peak.
Great.
That was my understanding, was that they were saying that the volcano was just Dante's Peak.
A town and a volcano name. It's perfect.
Yeah.
And a movie. Great title.
Incredible title.
They call it a stratovolcano.
Accurate.
Dr. Vanessa, could you please inform our audience what a stratovolcano is?
Yeah, a stratovolcano, sometimes also referred to as a composite volcano. It's like when you're looking at a picture book, for example, and you're thinking like, what is a classic conical pointy volcano? And that has to do with the fact that the composition is like very specific, like not to get too into the weeds, but there's like a compositional spectrum, and like right in the middle is a sweet spot that it's called like intermediate magmas, and it only really erupts most commonly from subduction zone volcanoes like the Cascade Range. So they get that really unique, like the composition is what makes it have this really unique shape. And so that's just kind of the name stratovolcano. So that was accurate.
So far, so good. Dante's
Yes.
Peak.
So Pierce Brosnan meets Mayor Rachel and she shows him around town. He has to go see the volcano specifically.
And she and everyone else in town have eyes and can see that Pierce Brosnan is hot. And everybody's super excited that Mayor Rachel Wando is driving around with a hot volcanologist.
Yeah, this is small town politics. Through some readings, he thinks that there's going to be an issue with the volcano in town. So he calls like a small meeting just between some of the city council members. And then quickly people are arguing about what to do. Do we alert the town? Do we start evacuating? There's not enough evidence. And Pierce Brosnan's boss shows up, Paul.
Is this after, though, that they've gone to see Ruth?
Oh, yeah, because the kids.
Yeah. Dude. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
The second thing I remember from this movie. Vanessa, we're going to need to fact check this. So there's a scene early on where two hotties from LA, naked in a hot springs in the mountains. They're in like a hot water pool.
Yeah, a
Yes.
hot spring. Yeah, it's a hot spring.
I remember this scene.
Bubbling hot water, hot people. They start making out. All of a sudden, this hot springs gets a little too hot, and the girl starts screaming bloody murder. The camera dunks underwater, and you see lava start pouring up and filling the hot spring.
Yeah, so how often does this happen in real life, Vanessa?
Okay, this was one of the few scenes in the movie that was like truly preposterous. So
I beg to differ.
so hot springs are hot because there's some sort of magma that's close enough to the surface that it's going to heat groundwater and it's allowed to percolate up to the surface and all that. Like, you know, obviously hot springs are real and could change their temperature when there's increased, you know, like magmatic movement or activity. Like that's all real. But what's not real is that there would be just like an injection of magma like into the hot spring.
It's as if a volcano erupted underneath this hot tub.
Right. The reason that would not happen is because like even if there was some sort of pathway, like a conduit that led the magma to that spot, you know, imagine 800 degrees Celsius magma comes in contact with groundwater, like it would turn into steam in less than a second. So it would explode. Like the thing would just completely explode. It would turn into the geyser at Yellowstone, Old Faithful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would basically do that. Like the whole thing would just explode because it would turn into steam really fast. It wouldn't just like cook them in water.
They would have gotten like blasted out.
Right.
Dude, hear me out. Is it a better scene if they just immediately explode while this thing blows up?
Just get shot into the sky.
Yeah. It's like splatter against a rock nearby.
I mean, I don't love either one, but yeah.
Okay, so it cuts back to Linda Hamilton and Pierce Brosnan driving around. She's like rallying her kids, and they want to go up to Ruth's, their grandmother's house. And so she agrees to drop them off there so that Linda Hamilton can show Pierce Brosnan the mountain.
He takes some readings from, what, a lake at the base of the mountain, Vanessa? What's he looking for?
I think if I remember correctly, it's the scene where he's trying to get the measurements of the gases from the area, and he's commenting on like some of the vegetation.
Yeah, there's like some dead trees. They also find, this is one of the things I wanted to ask you about, they find some dead squirrels, some dead wildlife.
Maggoty squirrels.
What's that about?
This is actually a really good question. So basically, carbon dioxide is not very soluble in liquids or, like any type of like in magma or anything like that. So a good sign that it's moving up, like if magma is ascending, then the decrease in pressure is going to make it so that dissolved carbon dioxide is going to exsolve. So it's going to release in from the magma. So if you're measuring gases from the surface and you're getting like a anomalously high reading of CO2, that means that magma is at the very least moving up. It doesn't necessarily indicate that alone is like, and therefore there's going to be an eruption. It just means that it's moving up so that some of that gas is being released. So if there's a lot of CO2 or in some cases like sulfur gases, and it ponds in like a low-lying area, it can suffocate any living thing that requires oxygen.
Wow.
Yeah.
These squirrels get fucked up.
They didn't see it coming.
Then Pierce and Linda Hamilton take these kids to the hot springs.
Yeah, they're like gonna go swimming because seemingly these hot springs are right next to Ruth's house.
In an incredible scene.
Yeah.
The kids are all excited. They're in their swimsuits. And the boy, Graham, is like about to do a cannonball.
Into a hot springs is a bad idea.
Yeah, terrible
That's
idea.
just...
And he runs and is about to jump, and Pierce Brosnan like runs up to him and he's like, no. Grabs him, stops him from going into the hot springs. We cut to these two burnt, like bloated, naked hotties from LA floating dead.
Yeah.
They got lavaed to death from underneath. And there's an amazing cut to the little girl doing like an incredible scream.
Honestly, the casting of the two kids is great. They look a lot alike, so they play perfect siblings, and they're both pretty good in the movie.
Yeah, they're great.
So we know something is up.
Now he calls the meeting.
Yes. So now he calls the meeting, and like I said, people are kind of arguing about what they should do. Should they tell people to leave, and that's when his boss shows up and says, everybody calm down. This is my best guy, but he shouldn't have called this meeting. This is way too soon. We will be here to take some readings, but we're not going to panic.
Classic. We should also say that there is like a very tiny little, not even a subplot, but like a mention of like a guy who wants to invest in some sort of businesses around Dante's Peak because it's been voted the second greatest small town in America. So there's like a real like kind of Jaws element to this where it's like,
we can't close the beaches.
Don't cause panic.
Yeah.
Don't make this place look like it's not safe to live because we're about to get this giant investment into our economy.
The next 45 minutes of the movie are like...
Linda Hamilton like making coffee.
Yeah, they're like kind of mundane, but we see them testing a lot of equipment and testing a lot of the mountain and the area around them.
Like a whole team has showed up, like a whole like Twisters style like ensemble team of volcanologists.
That's actually my favorite part of this movie, is that how it's just immediately like a Twisters again. It's just like, here's a bunch of people who do this all the time.
This came out the year after Twister.
My question to you, Vanessa, is that like during this part of the movie, is like some of this stuff pretty accurate?
I mean, I know this is kind of going back a little bit in our conversation, but the conversations that were happening with like almost like arguments that were happening, really like tense discussions about, between like policymakers, government officials, someone who's trying to make money, save money, like all that stuff is actually very real. And it is really interesting because as a scientist, you're not the one who's making any decisions. You're just providing the data and the interpretation of the data. You give that to like, the senators, the mayors, the emergency management folks, but it's ultimately like the politician's decision to say like, are we going to move forward with this, knowing that volcanic activity is so unpredictable, and with all the measuring and monitoring equipment that we have, like all the past studies that we have and everything like that, like we can do a good job of saying like increased CO2 means that there's ascending magma, but none of those things are like A plus B equals eruption. It's never really like linear like that. So in some cases it can be like the 1980 Mount St. Helens eruption kind of was, relatively speaking to like, all recorded volcanic history, but those kinds of things are rare. People want it to be. So it's like, okay, we have evidence A, B, and C, and therefore we need to make this call. Like sometimes it can be A plus B, like 90% of the time means an eruption, but this one time it doesn't. So it's like, if we evacuate everybody, that's a lot of money and a lot of fear. And if you get it wrong, then people lose trust in the scientists, and it's a lot of pressure on everybody. And so like as a geologist working for the state, watching that scene about the discussion that was going on and all the stress that everybody was experiencing, that's like really real. Actually, it's a little less tense than I thought it would be. Actually happened.
Not dramatic enough.
Yeah, right.
It's a mildly long stretch.
Yeah.
This 45. I was like, kids boiling alive in a hot springs. I was like, this is the greatest movie ever made. And then this lull happened and I started questioning things just for a little bit.
I get a little antsy at this part of the movie. It's not the best paced movie in the world.
It might be the best movie in the world, though. So let's not write it off.
Oh, we also need to mention that Linda Hamilton is not only a single mother of two and the mayor, she also owns and operates a like general store coffee shop. So Pierce Brosnan goes to her coffee shop / house to say goodbye. They've had, hearts in their eyes for each other the whole movie. They were about to kiss at one point, but the little girl breaks it up. And he goes to fill himself a glass of water. And what happens?
It comes out thick and yellow. And he's like, we don't really see them go to the town's water supply. I don't think it cuts to him showing up at the hotel room of his boss, the non-believer. And he runs over to his boss's hotel sink, fills up a glass of water, looks the same, nasty, thick, yellow. And it is sulfuric. Fact check. True or false? Vanessa.
Does this immediately mean an eruption? If I smell sulfur ever, is a volcano going to erupt?
This scene, the first thing I thought of with the water, I mean, I don't know if you would smell sulfur. You know how like larger towns, like city water is different than if you're out in somewhere where they're using like wells, like individual wells. If it was their small town like they have, I would imagine that I could be wrong, but if it is well water, it would have to be that like every single person's well was getting like inundated with material and gases, which seems a little unlikely.
But this basically convinces his boss that it's going to blow, right?
It convinces him that they need to start like reaching out to the civilians of this town and saying something is up. Also, do you know what his boss is from?
I don't think so.
I can't remember what his name in the movie is, but he's the guy in The Thing whose stomach caves in and bites off Blair's arms. No, not Blair, the other doctor's arms.
Hell yeah.
And then his head melts off and grows legs and becomes a spider.
One of the guys in this is also in They Live and In the Mouth of Madness.
Oh, really? Who?
Yeah, he's in like a bunch of his stuff. His name is Peter Jason, and he's like one of the guys in the first kind of town officials meeting that they like shouldn't have thrown.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
So they're in this gymnasium with like everybody who's ever lived in a town, and it's packed. It's great. It's full of extras.
It makes absolutely no sense that Linda Hamilton does not bring her children, though.
The kids, yeah. So they're like, shit, we got to evacuate this town. And the kids are left at home, and they've been like trying to call Grandma Ruth, but she's not answering the phone.
Yeah, earlier in the movie, Linda Hamilton calls her and says, Ruth, you got to get off the mountain. Bad stuff is going to happen. And Ruth's like, get fucking bent. I'm not leaving my house.
Yep. So the kids, while this town hall meeting is happening, decide to take a truck. This kid's 11 years old and drive up to Ruth's. During this town hall meeting, there's a giant earthquake that they feel while they're in there. Everybody starts panicking, evacuating. People are getting trampled. And what's happening outside?
Dante's Peak itself has started to erupt. Is that the right term at this point?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, this is when they're like showing there's like a cloud, like sort of like an umbrella of ash and stuff like that. It's interesting because the shape of the cloud that like envelops the volcano, the one and only reason it's not realistic is because the shape was so symmetrical, it would imply that there was like zero wind around like an entire volcano. Because usually they kind of go off to the side. And it was just kind of funny, like looking at it like totally symmetrically around. And if it was the kind of explosion that they were sort of referencing or getting at, it would have what they call a pyroclastic flow. So it would it's like all that ash and gas and debris and stuff like flowing down the mountain, not just like suspended. And I think that's kind of what they were trying to get at when the kids were driving up to grandma and it was like raining and they had the ash that was falling, and yeah, they're navigating that whole thing.
It looks like the thickest, grayest snowstorm you've ever seen. And it's all ash.
So in that case, you would not be able to drive your vehicle if it was that thick, because your intake, like your exhaust intake you would be intaking all of that ash, and it would destroy your engine, because in volcanic ash is just tiny glass shards.
Holy fuck.
Christ.
How does that happen?
Because it's like hot little bits of rock, or what?
Yeah. So you know how like if you opened a can of soda and you can watch like the little bubbles coming out the top, like they're literally popping. Lava is doing the same thing, or magma is doing the same thing, like right before it erupts. But imagine it doing it like with lava, and imagine it doing it. It's cool. Like as those bubbles are popping, it's cooling so fast that it can't form any like arrangement of atoms. Long story short is if you're forming just like a random arrangement of atoms that's made of mostly silica, that's glass. So it's like sharp, like fragments, just like filling the air. It's so detrimental to a lot of things. There's ash that's related to like, burning organic matter, right? Like that's not the same as the ash that's related to volcanoes. So yeah, it's something to be aware of for sure.
That's crazy.
So you'd be injecting all that glass into your engine. And if your engine can't take it, then your lungs certainly can't. So like these kids wouldn't be able to breathe. And then also you wouldn't want to use your windshield wipers, because you would essentially be frosting your windshield because it's glass. So you'd be like, you would just create like a frosted windshield. So don't do that.
Good God.
Just don't drive. Just don't drive to grandma's when the volcano erupts.
Yeah, fuck Ruth. Ruth sucks.
Dude, Ruth is such a piece of shit through this whole movie, dude.
Well, actually, we'll get there, Sam. But right now we can besmirch Ruth. Another thing we see here is lightning in the smoke coming out of Dante's Peak. That's a real thing, right? Like it creates its own static electricity or something?
It totally is real. It's so cool. And like, how there's like, you could be a doctor, but it's like, there's like 800 different specialties that you could have to study. Like I'm a volcanologist, and
which is the coolest version of a doctor.
Fuck a brain surgeon.
Fuck a brain surgeon.
What I mean is like, even as a volcanologist, like there's so many branches you can still go in, and volcanic lightning is like its own separate field. And it's so cool. Yeah. I don't know enough about it to speak to it entirely, but it's, it's like the idea of just the same way that like in a thunderstorm, like charged particles, like hot air mixed with all these different things. Like, yeah, volcanic lightning is real, and it's super cool.
The amount of ash that we see, I know that you said we couldn't drive in it or breathe in it or survive in it really in any way, but is that realistic in terms of ash amount? Because it's like insane.
Yeah. Just trying to get off of like context clues that they give in the movie, like the amount of ash and the fact that the grandma lives so close to the mountain, like that would be the equivalent of her having a house, right on the north flank of Mount St. Helens,
Sure.
Maybe not quite, because Mount St. Helens was like a lateral blast, but you get what I'm saying. Like it's close enough where she's considered in the blast zone. It sounds like, at least from the clues they give in the movie, and in those zones, yeah, anywhere, within, there's like a radius that you would be able to see of just like thick ash.
In the movie they talk about this in the commentary, they used essentially like ground up newspapers to create this. They needed something that was like not hazardous to breathe, or not that hazardous, I guess, and something that was not that terrible for the environment that they were in. Because a lot of this stuff is shot outside. So it's pretty crazy when you look at this movie, the amount of ash, quote unquote, that they're using. There is a scene that I would like to mention just very briefly where Linda Hamilton and Pierce Brosnan, who have learned that the kids have gone to see Ruth and that they have to go save them, they're driving a truck, like a old school SUV or whatever, up the mountain. And at one point they have to drive through a river, and they are like driving basically underwater, and there's like a snorkel on the front of the car. Okay. And I have to be honest with everybody here in this private, quiet circle. Many a time I'm driving around and I see one of these snorkel things on the front of a car and I don't know what it's for. And I think I privately concluded that it was some type of like cooling system for the engine. I thought it was like an intake for air to get into your engine and keep things running cool. Is that actually meant for a car to be able to drive almost underwater? Is that a snorkel?
Your car snorkel, dog.
No, it is.
Yeah.
People are out there doing this?
Yeah, they're literally designed, those car snorkels. Like, I'm not a car expert, but those snorkels are designed so that you won't flood the engine if it goes past like your grill or whatever.
Do they make them for Toyota Yaris? Because so...
You're going to drive through the LA River?
Yeah.
So the kids get up to Grandma's house.
And it's really an amazing, amazing sequence. Like both of them trying to get up there through this ash, through this lightning storm, through like falling trees, lava bombs. It's crazy. At this point, the town is falling apart. We've seen that already.
Yeah. So like as Pierce and Linda are running out of the meeting, we start to see the town fall apart as the kids are driving up to their grandmother's.
This scene when the town starts to fall apart, it's like 10 shots of buildings just like crumbling and exploding, and like neon signs falling over, church steeples like crushing school buses. It's crazy.
Dude, the part that really got me during this scene is when the expressway starts to like break and fall apart and cars are falling on other cars. I was like, oh, I got really into this scene.
And so this is from an earthquake from the eruption, Dr. Vanessa?
So I was a little bit confused about that scene too, because as far as I know, when there is a volcanic eruption, you know, like if you're experiencing like the actual explosion itself, like that can cause some shaking. But, you know, that to me looked like a magnitude like 6 or 7. I mean, to knock over a bridge, that's like a big magnitude earthquake. And I have yet to see that happen like at a town nearby kind of thing. Because usually like when magma is ascending towards the surface, there's shallow earthquakes. I don't know the precise magnitude, but I know that they're not like the kind that's going to like knock over buildings. Like if Mount Hood was to be erupting, it's not like the bridges in Portland are going to collapse. So like I think that might have been a little bit of extra drama that they added.
It works.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked it. It was great.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've arrived at maybe the greatest scene ever made. I had somehow forgotten this. They're up at Grandma's. They all get there and they convince Ruth it's time to go. One of the walls of her cottage erupts in flames and lava breaks open the wall and comes pouring inside.
Quickly, Vanessa, how likely is it for a human being to outrun lava?
This is a great question, actually. So if we're talking about lava that's coming from a cascade volcano, like we are in this movie, you can technically outrun lava. The fastest moving lava would be like the salt lava that erupts, like, for example, from Hawaii. Like you've seen those flows happen. Those kinds of eruptions sometimes happen at cascade volcanoes. And, you know, if you move quickly, if you're alert, you're paying attention, you could outrun lava. If it's anything other than that, all other kinds of lava actually erupt even slower. So lava flows in particular, like, they move slow, they cause damage, but if there's one coming at you, like as long as you're physically able, you should be able to move.
Let me rephrase the question. If I'm yelling at my ex-mother-in-law inside of our house and one of my walls turns into lava, what are my chances of getting out of that house unscathed?
I mean, if the lava was that close, it's hot enough, you'd probably get some like burns from just like the radiating heat. And also, you should never wait until the lava is like literally on your house before you decide to leave. I mean, I have to say that the movie gives the impression that this is like post 1980 Mount St. Helens eruption. So this Ruth has witnessed all of this given the context of the movie. Like she, I get that she's proud of her home and wants to be where she is, but you'd think that she'd be like, I saw what happens when people stay not that long ago, like 15 years ago or whatever. Like I should probably move. I should probably encourage my family to get the heck out of here. But she's really proud of her home, I guess.
Mountain won't hurt us.
The kids, Linda Hamilton, Pierce, and Ruth, bolt out the door. They run into the front yard. It's like pitch black lightning storm, by the way. They run into the front yard. They see lava basically like smoke the tires on both of their vehicles. And all they have is a little tiny motorboat to escape with. They get into it, push off into the lake, and are like slowly, motoring away from the shore when they realize that the lake, here comes the biggest true or false in my life, and I cannot wait to find out if this is true. The lake has turned into acid because of, why? Is this real? Do lakes turn into acid?
Every time a volcano erupts, does a lake turn into acid?
That's what I'm wondering. I gotta know.
Anytime a volcano erupts in the world, somewhere. A lake is turning into acid. No, I have yet to read like cases of this happening where the lake wouldn't already have been like a good analogy to this would be like Mirror Lake near Mount St. Helens or something like that. That's a lake that formed just, it's like a normal lake. It's not like a crater lake, like literal crater lake. So it's not something that's having a lot of gases coming into it. If sulfur gases were already like making their way into that lake, like all this time, like prior to the eruption, then that would be something people would know. It's something that accumulates like over a period of time. So there's plenty of lakes that, for example, near like Mount Lassen that we know are acidic because of this activity, but you wouldn't just get like all of a sudden, this is battery acid in Mirror Lake kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like I don't think it works that way.
Well, I'm not sure I agree with you, Dr. Vanessa, because it led to maybe the greatest scene of all time where they are on this rowboat. They realize it's acid. The water is sort of slowly seeping into the bottom. It's smoking.
Yeah, it's eaten the motor. The motor has stopped working.
Horrifying.
Pierce wraps his hand like in a jacket 3 times over and starts to kind of like paddle
row
with
the
it.
boat.
Yeah.
I don't know about that part. I'm pretty sure if you wrapped your hand in a jacket,
the acid would melt the jacket and eat your skin within seconds.
Yeah.
You're also dipping it into a thing, which then it would all be wet. So then.
Otherwise, though, this scene is entirely realistic. The boat is like gonna go down. Yeah. He pulls the motor out. It's incredible. He pulls the motor out and it's just gone. It's been eaten by the acid. The kids are freaking out. They're like close to shore, but not close enough. They're clearly not going to make it. Oh my God. And then what happens? Fucking Ruth.
Ruth, baby. Old baby Ruth comes through and she jumps out of the boat and like drags it onto shore as she's like, just like her legs are fucking melting off in this acid water.
Oh my God. And she saves the whole family. Like, I was on my feet, baby.
Ruth
has been redeemed. Another sort of scientific thing we see here is melting ice and then like what do you call it? Avalanche made of water. A flood?
A lahar.
Whoa.
Lahar. Whoa, I've never heard that word.
There's this incredible sequence where like a miniature set of a dam
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
is just overrun and flooded and broken apart by a huge, what'd you call it?
A lahar.
A lahar, a huge lahar full of like it is so filled with broken trees. It's amazing. It's like this white water filled with thousands of tree stumps
Yes.
going over and breaking this dam. So what's up with that?
This is one of the most accurate scenes in the whole movie.
Yes. Hell yeah.
It's so, as a geologist, when I was watching the guy get swept away on the bridge.
Oh yeah. Okay. So
like,
yes,
Yeah.
his boss, Pierce's boss,
Paul.
who at this point has apologized. We got to give him that.
Yeah.
He ends up the last person on a bridge on like a little convoy of the scientists who are evacuating the town, and they're stuck on this bridge, and everybody gets off except for Paul's van as this lahar comes sweeping down the mountain.
Yeah. Lahars can happen with or without a volcanic eruption, but in this case, it's one of the common ways that it can happen. It's basically like the hot gases and lava and just whatever is erupting from this volcano can flash melt any glaciers that are on the mountain. If it just melts them like immediately, all of that is going to go down river channels or any type of like low-lying valleys and things like that. I know a lot of this movie was like inspired by the Mount St. Helens eruption in 1980, and they did a really good job of showing the lahar. So anytime there's like a mix of lots of water, ash, debris, like trees, it could be rocks. It's really fast moving. Like they can move, I think, as fast as like 120 miles an hour.
Jesus.
Because they're channelized, right? So like the narrower it gets, the faster it's going to go. And if it's like a slurry of stuff, it's so powerful. It's like any type of flood, but you also have like trees and boulders in it, so it's like when it knocked out that bridge, that's accurate. And that's actually what happened with the Muddy River at Mount St. Helens. That whole area, they call it the Muddy River because it's just like you can actually see like halfway up these giant trees where they just got stripped of all their branches. You do not want to be in a low-lying area when there's a volcanic eruption, or even just like living in a low-lying area near a volcano at any time. It's just like really not a good idea. If you can help it, I should say.
Yeah, it's just like a torrential river, like full of like battering rams, basically. It's
Yes.
It's
a nightmare.
wild.
Yeah.
But it is so convincing in this movie.
It's great.
They use a lot of miniatures and stuff as this bridge is being swept away. I think they're using miniatures anyways. It looks amazing. Okay, then Pierce and company, Ruth is gone obviously, but Pierce and the kids and Linda Hamilton drive across
Dude, this part drove me insane.
lava. They drive across like,
Yeah.
Okay, is there a word for lava once it is sort of hardened on the outside?
No, it's just lava. It's magma before it's erupted, and then it's lava after it's on the surface.
So it looks from their perspective like it's all black. It's not like you can't see any of the like gooey stuff anymore, the orange stuff, but they just like floor it across this like road covered in hardened lava, and their tires explode and just like the whole car lights on fire.
Of course they do.
Seemed like a bad idea. I'm not a volcanologist, and that seemed like a bad idea.
I was like, okay, yeah. So half this car's on fire. Your tires are on fire. Cars operate on gasoline, which is fucking flammable. So I was like, we've already seen them drive down a mountainside, do all this crazy stuff. What is the logic behind driving right over the lava?
They got to get down, I guess.
Is there any world in which you could do anything like that, Vanessa?
No, not in a vehicle. If you've ever seen any videos of folks like geologists sampling lava, even like near where it's erupted, they have like this like giant heat resistant suits, and like, you know how firefighters have to wear those boots that are like 4 inches thick because they just melt through. Yeah, like it's, you know, but imagine instead of like a firefighter walking on fire, they're walking on like hot rock that came out of the, you know, like Earth's interior. Like it's like, so there's no way, like, the fact that they drive through that and then like make it out still able to drive, like it would just like crumple, it would just melt their rims. Like the vehicle would just sort of like like descend into the lava.
Like the guy from Zodiac and Volcano.
We should also point out that this is like an old Chevy truck that's made out of like complete steel. So it would just become like a box of brutal heat death. I don't understand this scene at all.
Wait, are you saying that Chevy Broncos aren't built to drive on?
Hey, man, no free ads, but built Chevy tough.
I'd rather be in a Chevy Bronco than a Toyota Yaris, even with my periscope.
Sure.
There's a great line earlier in the movie where when the first sort of shit starts to go down, one of the volcanologists, it cuts to her like in the little headquarters of their station, and she says something to the effect of like, she being Dante's Peak, she's only like cleared her throat, like she has not begun to sing yet. And so there's an implication that like this isn't even the eruption, like this is just like a prelude to whatever's coming. And so after Pierce and his car somehow get down the mountain, they end up back in the town, which is now completely evacuated. And there's amazing photography here, which I imagine is very accurate and very based on Mount St. Helens and anywhere else this has happened, of just this whole town is just covered, blanketed, like still in this ash. It's very scary, very haunting. And they're the last people basically in this town.
Yeah, and that bridge that we talked about getting washed away is the only way out of the town.
Yep. So now Dante's Peak is ready to sing. And she fucking explodes in an insane shot. It's so cool. It's like they're still in the truck. This thing blows up with this like giant pluming, smoky, ashy, little bit of fire in there, like just this huge eruption. From their point of view, we see this from the base of this town. And way earlier in the movie, when we first meet Linda Hamilton's son, he's like up to no good in this like abandoned mining tunnel.
Yeah.
And she's like, get out of there. You shouldn't be spending time. That kind of thing. Busts her little teenage son. And now the only safe place to shelter, they realize, is going to be in this tunnel. So this invincible pickup truck is flooring it. You know, it's coming down the mountain. The smoke's coming, whatever. And they just make it just in time before this entire town is like blanketed in absolute destruction from the big eruption of Dante's Peak. So the kids, Pierce, Linda Hamilton, are safe but stuck in this tunnel. All of the other volcanologists are like outside of town now, where it's like sunny, like completely, you know, different environment, but they're not far. They can still see what's going on, and they see this big eruption, and they're basically like, well, R.I.P. Pierce. Like, there's no way anybody's surviving that.
While in the tunnel, Pierce realizes he forgot a tracking device in the car that they drove into this mine shaft. So he's like, I have to go back and get it.
Like turn it on basically to alert his volcanologist friends that they're still alive. It's some like tracking device thing that's made by NASA that they established earlier.
We don't know how big the distance is, but he's basically got to go back to the truck to get this thing. And while on that journey, the mine starts to cave in around him. And that's when he breaks his arm. And that is what I remember from this movie. It's
a nightmarish sequence where he's like in the pickup truck, and the seat, you know, it's like a airtight, claustrophobic nightmare of a mine shaft. And he's inside of a truck inside of this tunnel. And then the mine starts to basically collapse on top of him. And the truck saves him, but it's like caving in on him, like one boulder at a time. Like the ceiling is like crunching toward him closer and closer. And he breaks his arm, and it's nasty.
But he does get the tracking device turned on, and truly it's like he turns the tracking device on, it cuts to his volcanologist friends, and a guy is looking at a light and he goes, hey, how long has this light been blinking? And some other fucking dweeb goes like, I don't know, 1 to 2 days.
Yeah.
What?
It's an insane jump through time, like the edit.
I'm sorry, sir. What? Isn't your job supposed to like monitor this shit? And you're like, I don't know what that light's been on there for a couple days. It's crazy, dude. And then literally the guy goes, thank you, NASA. Thank you, NASA. And then it cuts to them freeing Pierce Brosnan.
I just want to make it clear that I don't work for the USGS at the Cascade Volcano Observatory, but I know that no one would let a light that's like a help signal, like an emergency signal, just blink for 2 days and say like, oh yeah, that's just been blinking. Like, That's not how that works. And thank goodness that's not how that works.
That's the most unbelievable part of this movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, giant rescue team shows up. They pull everybody out. They pull Pierce out first. He's been separated from the kids and Linda Hamilton. He's not sure if they're still alive. They're not sure if he's still alive, but they all reunite outside of the mine.
Turns out everyone's alive. And they make a joke about going fishing in Florida. And it's like, that's the movie.
Pierce and Linda kiss, and it's a happy fucking ending, folks. How'd you feel about this Blu-ray, Samuel? This 4K?
Well, again, I've not watched the 4K, but I watched the Blu-ray from the Kino edition.
You're without your 4K player right now because of the fleas.
Yeah. But I thought the Blu-ray looked great. Honestly, this movie, because it's not a lot of CGI and it's a lot of cool miniatures and stuff, it's aged pretty well.
I would say it's aged great.
I didn't explore any of the special features. This is from Kino. I'm assuming there's a trailer. There sounds like there's a commentary.
Fantastic trailer, Sam.
Oh, shit.
I know you will love it.
I gotta watch it.
It's one of those trailers where it seems like they shot specifically for the trailer.
Oh, perfect.
It's very good. There's a hour-long making of that I have not gotten through yet. It's got like this incredible little montage at the beginning full of like just an endless amount of BTS shots, quick shots of all these practical effects that they're shooting. That's so good. And then the next like 20 minutes is just like talking heads that are kind of boring.
Yeah.
I got to get through it because I got to see if they get into how they did specific things visually, but they talk a lot about that on the commentary, which is nice. It's the director, Roger Donaldson, and his production designer on the commentary.
Oh, sweet.
Great looking 4K. Thank God it finally came out.
Yeah. Again, Kino, we love you so much.
I think it's a perfect movie with absolutely no factual flaws whatsoever. I found it all to be incredibly believable. No, Dr. Vanessa, your insight has been, we're not worthy. Let's just start by saying that. I don't know what you're doing here. We are so honored to have had you and your expertise to talk about this movie. And we really hope you had fun.
I had so much fun. Your guys' podcast is so interesting. And this movie is like surprisingly accurate. Like you guys said from the beginning, it's so cool to watch a movie where they're talking about geology that's happening like right in our backyard and talking about it in a way that's actually kind of real.
I'm just happy to know that I can now drive my Honda Element over lava.
Yeah, be sure to try that. We really hope you'll come back, Vanessa, whenever Volcano comes out on 4K.
Yeah, we can't wait.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that I am going to make a career change based on this conversation. And I want to become the type of volcanologist who studies the lightning. Is there a name for that? Where do I start? Where do I start?
Yeah.
I wish I knew the name. I'm sure there is one, but I would say just
lightning volcanologist?
Yeah. They call it, yeah. You would just go by Dr. Flash, I think.
Oh shit.
Incredible.
Absolutely sold.
Oh my God.
Okay, before we go, it's time to put wishes out into the physical media universe for titles on formats that do not yet exist. Sam, I have a slight concern that maybe we have the exact same wish.
We may. I wish for 1997's Volcano from Kino Lorber on 4K.
I wish for 007 GoldenEye on 4K.
Did you pivot?
I didn't pivot.
Wow.
Volcano is the same year as Dante's Peak?
Yeah, dude.
Holy shit.
This was like a Deep Impact Armageddon, which I think is the next year. What can we say about Volcano? We talked about it already on the show, but it stars Tommy Lee Jones and Anne Heche. It's about a volcano erupting under the La Brea tar pits in LA, and it's just another awesome big budget disaster movie. I fucking love disaster movies. It might be my second favorite subgenre after creature features.
Dante's Peak came out first, February of 97, and then Volcano came out in April. So they are like back to back.
Yeah.
Volcano, according to Wikipedia, had a considerably smaller production budget of 90 million, made 122, so mediocre, I guess.
Yeah, it's also not that well liked.
No, not as much as Dante's Peak, I don't think. And Dante's Peak 116 production made 178, so not that great of a hit either.
Yeah.
But I think Dante's Peak is definitely thought to be the better movie. But absolutely, let's get this shit on 4K.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Kino.
I believe it's an out-of-print Blu-ray. It definitely used to be, if it's not still.
It's a really bad Blu-ray cover.
Yeah. Oh, it's horrible.
It's like a atrociously bad Blu-ray cover.
GoldenEye is 1995. It is Pierce Brosnan's first entry as James Bond. And obviously, for anyone our age, Sam, this inspired the greatest video game of all time. There's a lot of nostalgia that I have for GoldenEye.
Oh, yeah.
I have no idea if it's actually good.
Is Dante's Peak the first movie that Pierce does after GoldenEye?
If only there were a website that could tell us just that. According to IMDb, Sam, he does 3 movies in between. The Disappearance of Kevin Johnson, The Mirror Has Two Faces, which I think I saw as a kid, and a little movie called Mars Attacks.
Wow.
Okay, that is it for another episode of Physical Therapy, a movie podcast. A massive thank you to Patrick LeBon for our incredible music. Thank you to Kimberly for producing. And good heavens.
Good gosh.
Good gosh, oh my. Thank you to Dr. Vanessa Swenton, a fucking volcanologist, for being on our podcast.
Insane.
Thank God she could come tell us all about what's real and what's not in 1997's Dante's Peak. A masterpiece.
If you are enjoying this show, please follow us on Instagram at PTMoviePod. And if you have the time, please leave us a review wherever you are listening to this show.
We will be back next week, and we'll see you then.